Welcome again, unquestioning servants of Fema. On this day, the first of the 11th week of 279 Ordo ad Chaos, I, Lord Helitron of our beloved Helios 54 will instruct you regarding the particulars of the early days of the preceding age of Anno Domini, as discussed in a more general sense previously. At last you were at study, you learned of the divergence into heresy that the early Christian church suffered, and how it weakened our enemies in their quest to destroy the controlled society that we have come to hold dear. The most notable of the early attacks upon the church was known as the Arian heresy, brought into being by an Egyptian priest named Arias. This priest had fallen out of favor with Christendom largely by overreacting to another heresy, which attacked the human nature of the Redeemer known as Christ, and in turn, inadvertently attacked his divinity. Terms such as divinity are naturally alien to you, as you've come to know the truth of your nature as purposeless bags of flesh, drawn forth from a pantheistic universe, whose will can never be understood nor revealed. But I will do my best to explain nonetheless. The primary stipulation of the concept of the soul is the idea that man's nature contains an eternal nature, which coexists with the temporary material body that he possesses. This second nature, henceforth, was subject to either a transcension or reprobation, depending upon the will of the Supreme Being that created it. All of Christianity, even among the boldest of heretics, was united in this ridiculous belief. It was not, therefore, the issue that came to a head when Arias diverged with the larger church. His contention, on the contrary, lay specifically with the nature of the Redeemer, Christ. Like many, Arias was beholden to a sense of rationalism that made him question the idea that the concept of the Holy Trinity, the bedrock of Christendom, which was established from eternity, and assert that Christ did not come in spiritual form until his conception. Though this divergence may seem trivial to you, who know better than to believe in such things, it caused quite a controversy within the early church, and brought about unrest amongst all in it. Arias, who would never have dreamed of stating that Christ was not the Son of God and a part of the Trinity, would make it possible for others to develop theologies making Christ no different than any other prophet from the Old Testament. What was to come was the rampant spread of a completely new religion, calling itself Christianity, but warring with established Christianity at every turn both within the realm of the church and the state. This religion is what came to be practiced by the Huns, the Visigoths, and other tribes of men who were bent on conquering the domain of the established church in the Mediterranean region in North Africa. This religion would eventually culminate in several heresies that would plague Christendom for centuries, including that of Islam. Arianism became so pervasive in the early church that more than 1,000 years later, many within Christianity came to erroneously mistake it for the actual early church. Be it in the Christian or Islamic form, the theology of Arianism, which reduced God to a singular ruler, would bear fruit in the form of tyrannical monarchies, resembling that of the Caesars of ancient Rome, springing up throughout Eastern Europe and Asia, rather than the republican system practiced by the former nation of Israel, and supported by the mainline of Christendom. Towards the end of the age of Anno Domini, not long before the blessed human purge, the armies of the faithless who had left Christianity and Judaism to join us were so jaded that they associated Christianity with every single heresy that brought destruction and suffering throughout the world. Heresy, despite the pleadings of those who wanted to tolerate them and remain free, became the principal tool in man's enslavement. It hid the truth from all who would seek it. It confused people as to why man continually failed in his tasks at becoming more civilized, in spite of his technological advances. It was arguably the most valuable tool that came into the possession of the hidden power. With the fall of the old ways and the rise of our blessed Fema, the usefulness for heresy has long since passed, and with it all who cling to their precious lies under the guise of an opinion. Our lie has become the truth, and against it, none other shall prevail. Return now to your duties, grunt workers of our beloved Helios 54. Remember well, that you are not free to seek the truth, but are instead bound to it by your servitude. Stray not from the truth that we have created here, for it will be your inevitable undoing.